Yo, 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 what up, family? We are here for another episode of the Release the Chains podcast. We got my good friend Quixari here. Um, Quixari, well, let's just get right into it, bro.
Let's
You
do
want
it.
to introduce yourself and tell the people what you got going on?
Absolutely. Sure. Yep. So my name is Quixari. I am based in the California area, Long Beach. Part of a few masterminds, and just I have a lot of stuff going on. Looking to transition full time into real estate, right? So just kind of working on that path right now. That's my trajectory. And just putting a plan in place and following that plan to get there. Yep.
Love it. So, what are you doing full time right now?
Full time, I work at a Microsoft company. So I do IT. Um, yeah, I love what I do, but I've realized about 5 years ago that no matter how good the salary is, there's always a ceiling, right? Um, I'll always be tethered to my 9 to 5. Let's say I worked at my company for another 25 years, I still wouldn't have enough to retire in 25 years. So, those realizations have made me come to the realization that, I need to do something else. So here I am.
So when did you come to that realization?
This was about this is about 5 years ago, right? And so I started my journey in real estate. Of course, I'm in California. We did some flips. My wife, her family is from Tennessee. So we focused on Tennessee. She said, I want to be out there. That's where I want to be. I want to build apartment buildings out there. So we started off by just doing a few flips, right? We did a few flips. We did okay, right? Contractors did it. They did some shady stuff. You want to watch out for those contractors.
Yeah.
Stole our copper plumbing. They were just doing all kind of weird stuff to us. So we had to fire them, hire new ones. That blew our timelines all out of whack. We finally did finish maybe like 3 months after our projected time to finish. Um, so then we had a realtor. She was great on the acquisition portion of real estate, but when it came to selling our properties, she wasn't showing up for some of the open houses that we had. I had to fly out there and find out all of this information. So that again pushed our timelines back. We ended up losing money on those deals that we did out there. So
So
I did the
this was while you were working full time at the
just
Microsoft
while I
company.
was, yeah. So it really made it challenging to do this remotely, but I know that it has to be done. So I did start working with a few realtors in Tennessee, and they brought us a few other deals. Right,
Mhm.
the deal that they brought us, it was a deal with a probate. A lady had passed away, and her daughter. Wanted to get rid of the house, so we got a great deal on it. It was great, right? This was going to set us straight, and it was going to get us out of the money that we lost, right? Because I didn't personally guarantee any of the loans, but I felt obligated to pay my private lenders back, right? So I was working through my 9 to 5 to pay them back, right?
Mhm.
So I'm like, all right, this will set us straight. We got it. We were going to put it under contract. We put it under contract. We were about to close on it. COVID hit, all my investors backed out. We don't know what's going on. I don't know if we should do this right now. We're going to wait. So I pinged everybody, all my lenders that I knew. Everybody was not hearing it. This was like March 2020. I mean, I get it. I didn't even know what was going on.
Yeah.
So we ended up wholesaling it, right? We sold it to New Western. We were supposed to um, they were going to give us about 20K for it initially. But we were like, well, let's see if we can, find some more, find another lender that'll close on it. Let me get back to you in a week, right? Pandemic is still escalating. We come back to them in a week. They were like, all right, we can only give you 13 grand. We were like, so it was either lose it, make no money, or sell it for 13 grand and part ways with it, right? So we
Right.
did something. So we did. I
So
followed
so
that house.
those first it was three fix and flips, correct?
It was two fix and flips. That third one was going to be the third fix and flip. We also had a wholesale that we did within that time frame as well.
Okay.
So yeah, that would have been our fourth deal.
So, dude, talk. The first two went south, correct?
They went right. They were doing good, but I mean, it was really the contractor, right? It was
Right.
really the
But
contractor.
essentially, you lost money on the first two.
We did.
So, what made you? Because a lot of people, this happens to a lot of people. Believe it or not, they'll get into real estate. They'll do a fix and flip and lose money. They'll try again and lose money again.
Hmm.
And by then they throw in the towel. They're like, you know what, screw it, I'm done. So what prevented you from just saying, yo, this real estate shit is not it? Like, I'm just gonna go back to my 9 to 5 and figure it out. So like, what made you go do that third deal?
Um, because I created that relationship with that realtor, and we were working on it for so long, and I know that you know it's all about failing, right? Failing forward. I don't know if anybody has read that book, but it's like you want to fail. You want to go through that failure process because those are the channels that you learn from, right?
Mhm.
So if we never failed, we would have never known, hey, you really need to be on your contractors, right? And what did that do? That helped us put things in place like for the second flip that we had cameras, right? We installed cameras. We wanted to know, hey, the contractor's not there at 9 a.m. Hey, what's up? Let's give him a call. Why is he not there, right? If he's not showing up and he's telling us he's there and we can see on the camera he's not, it's time to fire him, right? And we
Right.
did just that, right? We fired him, but that kind of set us back because we didn't have a lot of other contractors that we could pull from, right? So it was more of we were building the contractors as we fired the other contractors. So again, that was delay. But what I found was it was it was helping me build out a system, right? So what do I really need the contractors for? The only thing I found that I needed the contractors for was really for framing, right? And instead of going to a GC, I would go. I could go to a GC, or I can go straight to the sub, right? So I'm building relationships with the subs. Everything else, I can go to a company that specializes in that, right? So for flooring, and they have comparable prices, right? For flooring, after I ran into that issue, I said I'm gonna go to Empire for all of my flooring. I know they're gonna come. They're gonna show up when they're supposed to. They care about the company, their name, right?
Yep.
And it's not a mom and pop. Plumbing, I can go to just straight plumbing companies like Leeds, right? Um, so I can go directly to these smaller companies, and the only thing that I would need the actual contractor for is framing and demo, right? So that reduced my footprint of the necessity of a contractor, and it helped me to streamline the process of what I needed to do moving forward.
100%, dude.
Hmm.
That's so good.
Hmm.
Because a lot of people will get into the business. I heard a story one time of somebody somebody's trying this business for like a couple months and spent a bunch of money on direct mail,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
And they didn't get any deals. I think they got a couple leads from it. They just didn't know how to convert or whatever.
Right.
Essentially blew their money on direct mail, didn't really understand the business before that, and then stopped,
Mm.
right? And
Right.
that happens to a lot of people. But I mean, great thing. Chiari over here doesn't have that mindset. He has a mindset where he just pushes forward, which
Yep.
which is what you need, bro, in this entrepreneurship shit and just in general, no matter what business you're in. Because there's gonna be times, brother, you're down and out, and you're like, bro, is this really what I should be doing? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, those
So,
moments do come, those defining moments, and those are the make or break moments, right? You're either going to be broken or it's going to make you stronger and
mhm,
figure it out. And entrepreneurship, it's all about figuring it out, right? We always hear about it, right? How as entrepreneurs, what we really are problem solvers, right? So I faced a problem and I had to find a way to solve that problem, and that's what I did, right? So these are what shape and define, who you are and what you are going to become. Because let's say we have a peak and a valley, right? you're right here, you're going up this hill, and the valley is like right there, you're almost at the promised land, but people get here and then they stop, and then all that trajectory and forward momentum is wasted. So just push through, and man, you will be happy that you did, I believe.
You said something super important too when you were like, well, I mean, the realtor was giving me leads and I was building a relationship with her.
Right.
So, right, she gives me the third one. I don't want to tell her no because I'm looking in the future. She's going to give me 30 deals in the
Yep.
next couple years. You know
Yep.
what I mean? So that's super important that you realize that. Yeah, okay, there was a couple deals that went south, but it's like taking a couple steps back to take a leap forward. You know what I
Yep.
mean? You just
Yep.
have to bite that bullet, learn the systems. Boom. All right. How do we move forward? In our business, I love calling it pulling back the curtains, learning, correcting, and executing.
Yep. I like
Right.
that. I
Um,
like that.
so as of right now, where are you at in real estate?
So what I did do when all of my um, lenders backed out. I didn't know what was going on. I felt like I was going to get fired, right? I didn't want my main revenue stream to get removed from under me. And this was at the height of the pandemic. Unemployment rates are soaring. I'm like, okay, this is the wrong time to try to lose my job. So I said, let me hunker down at work. Let me just focus on work. I'm going to watch this wholesale deal, right? That I sold off. I want to watch it. Um, but I'm going to work, right? So I actually started focusing on work, right? Um,
Wait, why did you feel like you were gonna get fired?
because I had spent so much time doing these
Oh,
rehabs
got
that
it,
I
got it.
was neglecting work, right?
Yep.
I'm delegating, and I'm not there, right? Because I'm on the phone, I'm trying to find out where the contractors are, right? It really got overwhelming, and
Hmm.
it was just me, right? So I hunkered down at work, um, and they fired me. So they fired me
Wow.
anyway I just felt it right in the heart of the pandemic, and they were like, we lost all of our customers. um well, we lost a lot of our marquee customers like Lowe's, Home Depot, so we have to eliminate your account. I was a director, right? And I'm like, dang, okay. So I'm really panicking, right? I'm like, what the heck am I gonna do? So I pivot back, like I have a family. I can't just, try to wing it, right? So I have to go to what I know. I have to rely on what I do know to kind of make it through the storm. So I ended up looking for a job, right? They were like, we'll keep you on for 30 days so you can find a job. We'll give you a severance, but we got to let you go. So I did that. I ended up getting three offers, right? And you know, so I took I took them, and I actually opened up a my technology company, right? I always wanted to do that, so I said, okay, I'm going to open up my tech company. I did that, and I focused on that really 2021, right? I wasn't really seeing a lot of deals. I went to what I knew, right? So here we go. Fast forward to the end of, or like October of 2021. I say, okay, market looks like it's doing a little better. I can kind of ease up. I've been paying off my lenders, right? I didn't do a personal guarantee, but I think just integrity, right? I felt like I wanted to pay these people back. So this is what I did, pay them back. Um, October 2021, I say, all right, I'm ready to dive back into my real estate company. And that's what I do, right? And I go full force, right? And so now I'm looking for creative deals. I'm partnering, right? So you can say I'm ramping back up because I really kind of started in October to kind of transition. I
Hmm.
ended up getting another position. That's when I ended up getting hired on at Microsoft. So yeah, here we are. Now I'm like full force. Um, yeah, looking for deals, setting up my system. So what I did is I partnered with one of my private lenders that I paid back. She was like, I'm so glad you had so much integrity.
Ain't that something?
Right? You see what I'm saying? She was
You
like,
know, so Dan Fleischman, he talks about that. Something I forget exactly what happened, but dang, what was it? I want to say maybe it was his energy drink business or something like that. There was something that went bad
mhm,
where everybody else in that specific industry didn't pay their people back, and he was the one that was like, "Hey, I'm going to have integrity to do that." Then he said, "Me
mm,
giving them all the money back and having the integrity to do it ended up catapulting my career like 5, 10 years ahead of that." So
wow.
it's essentially along the lines of the same thing. It's like, bro, I do it all the time, no matter what. Like, I don't care if there's gonna be no food on my plate. I'm gonna make sure I pay my people back.
Right. It's important.
Super important.
It's important, man. And that shows like integrity, right? That shows that
Mhm.
you care and you're not just here trying to make a fast buck. You want everybody to, rise with you. It's a long, this is what we're going to do for a long, long time, right? So we want to enjoy it and we create the people that we want to work with in our business. It's not like if we have a job, you're placed with the people that you're placed with and it's not much you can do, where in your business you create the environment that you want. And
Mhm.
I think that's powerful. That's powerful.
Love it. So October 2021,
Yep.
you decided to dive back into real estate after doing your first wholesale deal. Now, from October to now, what has those months looked like?
So really I just been focusing on creative, right? So I didn't know much about creative financing. um and so the first person I came across was a guy in multifamily as well, right? So
Mhm.
I've stockpiled some cash, and so I'm ready to get some buildings, right? Um, which was what I did in that year, right? I got those jobs and did that. Oh, and then I'll go back and say that wholesale deal. That was actually my second wholesale deal, but that wholesale deal that I did, I watched it, and 8 months later, they sold that property for $415,000. I had it under contract for 167,000.
Damn.
So that that hurt. That one hurt. And I knew it was a good one, but I didn't have at that point I didn't have the
How
means
much work
to
did it need?
I want to say it needed about 50, 60,000.
Holy crap, dude.
Right? So doable. I don't know what the middle what
What
Midwestern sold
prevent
it to them
what
for.
what prevented you from doing the fix and flip?
I didn't have the funds at that point to close. And then the other thing was I could have probably pulled some resources together to get it. But the other thing was, remember, we had issues with the contractors before there was any pandemic, right? So I'm
Right.
like, and I'm remote rehabbing, right? So this is in Tennessee. I'm in California. So if I was having issues before with no pandemic, I just wasn't really sure, how that was. I couldn't fly, right? All flights got stopped or limited.
Were
So
you a part of Sub Two at that moment?
no, no. At that point, so I started off with a company called Fortune Builders.
Yeah, I know Fortune Builders.
Yeah, back in
Okay. So,
2018.
so think about it. Like, now that you have a community behind you,
Yep.
how would you go about that specific deal different?
I could go to the community. I have a community. And trust me, I went to the Fortune Builder community when that happened. Radio silence from everyone. Nobody was trying to do anything, because that was the community. That's how I was able to get the deal. That's why I found all my lenders at. But that community has, since dispersed. I see a lot of people in sub two. So I'll fast forward you back to October 2021. I found Clever Investor. And I was like, okay, Clever Investor, Cody Sperber is pretty cool. Cole Hatter is the reason that I joined Fortune Builders. He was the speaker. I joined. He said, "Hey, Cody Sperber is the guy I'm partnering with. Good guy. You need to check this out." Right. So I joined Cody Sperber. I then fast forward. I've been going through the material. I also joined this other one called it's a guy by the name of Peter Conti, right? And he talks really about multifamily, right? And no money down. He's the one that started talking about creative financing. I'm like, how do people make money in a down market and in an up market, right? It's
Mhm.
creative financing. That's one of the main tools. So fortune builders didn't teach that. What fortune builders kept saying is, hey, you want to learn something new? You can give me another 10 grand. You want to learn something new? Give me another 5 grand. It was that, right? And I was
Yeah,
like, I just didn't have it at that point. They had drained me, which is probably why I didn't have the money to close on that deal, right?
right.
But anyway, so I went to the Clever Summit, and in the Clever Summit, I was there. My wife was actually
Not this one, the one that happened last year.
this one.
Oh, this one. Okay.
This one, right? So I went. I had met Cody Sperber right after the Clever Summit last year in 2021, and then he
Mhm.
had the other one in like a month and a half ago, or about a month ago, right? So at that event is where I saw Pace, right? I'd seen him speak before, and I was like, I didn't know what he did. I had no idea of what he did. He just said, "Yeah, I do real estate." I just didn't know his story. I saw Jamil. I didn't know his story. Um, but when I saw how his community was like, "We love you, Pace," it was like he was a movie star. I'm
Yeah,
like,
like what the heck? Who is this
"What
guy?
the heck is what is this?"
Uh,
I love you, Pace. And then my wife volunteered at the T-shirt a booth, right? So my
yeah.
wife and my daughter was there. And my wife was like, "Have you heard of somebody called Pace and Sub 2?" And I was like, "No." She was like, "Well, look at these shirts." And she was giving away. Pace came over and said, "We want to give my shirts away. We don't want to sell any of these. We want to give them away, right?" But we had already bought some, right? I bought sweaters and everything because I like the peace sign. It just looked real cool, right?
Mhm.
But my wife and I were both like, hey, I kind of like that community. She talked to a few people from the community. I was talking to people because I was networking. I talked to a few people in the community, and I was like, I want to join. I want to find out what this is about. So I ended up joining at Clever Summit. Yeah, he was there. I don't know if you met my daughter, but she was a little girl with green braids.
Man,
So many
I
people.
so many people. Like I know I probably should. I probably
It
didn't meet her to be honest,
was
but there are so many people.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah, she was at the clothing booth. So I joined, and I
So with that being said, right?
yep,
Um, now that you understand what a real community is about,
right, right,
and if you ever had that deal pop up again and you're like, man, I don't really have the funds to do this deal, but I really, really, really want to do the fix and flip, maybe a better route would be reaching out to the community down there in Tennessee and saying, hey, who's a valid fix and flipper who has been doing deals
right.
consistently, fixing and flipping, and has a team out there? Who can I partner with on this deal? I'll bring the deal if you can bring the crew and the funds
Yep,
because you already have that in place. I'll
yep,
bring the deal. Give me 25%, 50%, whatever you guys negotiate, right?
yep.
And now instead of getting a wimpy freaking $13,000, which I'm not going to say wimpy because that's actually that's a good assignment fee. Honestly, it's like the average across the whole nation. So freaking good job on the wholesale fee. But compared to what you could have fixed and flipped it for,
Right,
right?
right,
25% would end up being like maybe 40 grand or something like that.
right, right.
So now that we have a community behind us, we can reach out to somebody like that and structure it that way, which is dope.
Yep.
So um, with that being said, has your mindset changed a little bit just with community and everything since being in a different type of mentorship?
Absolutely, right. I think what I'm getting from the Pace mentorship is definitely community, right? And it's not like in the past I've all right, my it's not like in the past. Who's my wife? Um,
Oh, I love it. I wish my girl would come give me a kiss, but she's working.
oh man. Um, in the past, the community, like the fortune builder community, some of them were okay, but some of them weren't, right? It was like kind of hit and miss. I made some
Mhm.
good friends, and of course I found all my lenders there, my private lenders. But I see that the Pace community is like they're all working together, and that's the goal of the community, right? It's encouraged in the community. What do you need? We're here for you. I'm here to help you get it. Let's squad up, right? I think I think the fortune builder community was more of a scarcity mindset. Do it on your own, right? That's another thing I see. I see that fortune builders was teaching us do everything on your own. It's all one business. What I like about Pace is he's saying you can break that up, right? You got dispositions, you got acquisition, you got sales, you have all these different avenues. Pick your lane and go at it, and then you can hire out the other people, right? You can hire those other people out or JV with somebody. You don't have to do it all yourself. So again, when I was doing those flips in Tennessee, it was all me. It was
Bro, that's freaking bananas. Like, dude, we're doing a well, not at the moment, but we're trying to accomplish a deal down in Florida,
okay.
and it'll just be a little fix and flip.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been talking with a realtor down there who's going to help manage the project if we go forward with it. The numbers need to be a little bit better than what the wholesaler brought it to us, just because we found out that there's some roof damage and stuff. But if he ends up selling to us, we do have our number
Okay.
that we're going to buy it at, and we're leveraging a lender who's going to actually be a partner on the deal. We're leveraging a realtor down there who's going to manage the flip, who already has a crew down there who's going to help us with the deal. Like, just leveraging other people's sector that they're good at in this business, right? And
Right.
that's actually what we do in our direct to seller wholesale business. Once
Mm,
we get a property under contract, actually, let me back up a little bit to tell you how this ended up happening.
okay.
About probably 4 months ago. Yeah, maybe about 4 months ago. I see a deal posted on Facebook, and I'm like, what the heck? That's one of the deals that I went on an appointment with, right? Like, I was following up with this lady for months, um, and somebody obviously got the deal. So
Mm,
the old Mike would have been mad. The old Mike would have said, "Yo, what the heck? These people are stealing my deals. Like, this isn't fair, right?" Like Wimpy Mike. That's what a Wimpy Mike would have said. Instead, I thought of it like, "Wow, I'm super curious how they got that deal done, and I
mm,
would love to collab with them."
right.
So I reached out to them. I said, "Hey, like, I was going on an appointment with that lady, and um, I don't know. I thought I did a really good job. I just don't know what happened. Like, how did you end up getting that deal done?" And she's like, "Oh, it was just a good appointment, and we got it at this price." It ended up being like $30,000 over what I offered. My offer
Oh,
was way too low. Come to
right.
find out, they just have such a really good buyers list, right? And they're like one of the best dispo wholesalers in this area,
Oh.
and they have dispo down pat. I'm like,
Mm,
interesting. So if I just came up freaking even 30 grand, we would have made 40 grand on the deal.
whoa.
Instead, my numbers were way off because think about it. I'm super laser focused on getting contracts.
Right.
I'm not super focused on dispo. So we didn't have a really big dispo team. So I
Right.
didn't understand other buyers buy box that weren't just fixing and flipping. Like, there's other buyers that might just hold the property that can pay a
Right.
higher price. Right. So
Right.
they have all those buyers. So I come to say all that with that specific example, our relationship started and we did a deal together. And I'm like, wow, this actually went really smooth.
Wow.
It was just, I got the contract. I sent the contract over to them. They got the buyer. They did the showing. They took care of everything. And I was good. And we did the deal. And I was like, this is interesting. Wait, so I don't even have to go find a buyer. All I have to do is just lock up contracts and send them over. Oh yeah, this is a no-brainer. Let me go focus so much on acquisitions and let them take care of dispo. I don't care what they make on it. Like, let me go hone in on
Mm,
my internal team when it comes to acquiring deals and let them take care of the rest, because every minute that I go spend on trying to build the buyers list is gonna take away from me getting contracts. You
mm,
know? And
right.
I can remember Pace telling us one time, he said, don't quote me on it, but I want to say that he said something like his first 100 deals were sold through Keegley,
Right.
right? and it allowed him to just focus on the acquisition side, which
Right.
is just it's so much better.
Right.
So I say that all to say all sectors of the business can be outsourced. Just get super good at one thing
Right.
to begin, and then we can branch off. Just like Pace, I'm assuming, um, just from what I know, I think he built out his dispo department at some point,
Right.
right?
Right.
But focusing on one thing at one time, getting really good at that thing, and letting everybody else take care of the other things makes everything so much easier. Because if not, you're just going to be stuck. Like you're saying, maybe the fortune builder's mindset is you got to do everything on your own.
Right. Right.
Which at that it's hard to get good at one thing when you do that. It was actually my bottleneck in the beginning of my business.
Right.
Like I was generating leads, I didn't know how to close, so Pace taught me how to close. Learned how to close, and I was still generating leads. But what ended up happening was is I built out a team too fast by myself.
Mm.
So a bunch of leads were coming in. I was trying to follow up. I was trying to close. I was trying to manage. I was trying to do all these things.
Right.
And it was too much at once. And I was super inconsistent. And
Yep.
then it wasn't until I started outsourcing stuff like systems and dispo and other things in my business that got to the point that just led me to, all right, Mike, focus on sales.
Because that's what it's about.
Sales. And then we have plans on building out other sectors of the business.
Right.
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 So with that being said, for you, from October to now, has there been something where you just got laser focused on?
No, I think right now. So I just joined Sub Two in maybe about a month ago. It hasn't even been a month, right? Because I just found out about him at the Clever Summit, and I was like, I'm joining. Even my wife was like, let's join, right? I know you joined these other ones. Let's join this one, right? So I'm going through the material. I was on a call with him yesterday. Talked to Carolina or Carolyn.
Caroline,
Caroline, yep.
he's the
And
best.
just really understand it really helps me because this was my problem, right? And even when I started back, I was trying to do everything. I need to be the disposition. I need to do this. I need to do everything, right? So now I've partnered with my the lender that was my private lender. We've partnered together.
Mhm.
She's great in finance, right? So she's going to handle all the finance. I'm going to handle the sales. I'm real good with selling and communicating with people.
Yeah.
And I think from there we can hire the rest, right? I think we're going to do some Start Virtual. I have virtual assistants right now, but the one thing that I do like about Start Virtual is they
You have virtual assistants
manage
for
it.
real estate?
Yeah, yeah. I've always had them
So you're
since
generating leads already.
sort of. Sort of, not really, not really. I'll say I'm getting back into it. So when I had my virtual assistants back in 2020 and 2019, 2018, yep, they were generating leads for me. And plus, I was talking to realtors, right? So I was doing a little bit of both. But again, it's exhausting doing all of it by yourself and having a full time job. It's exhausting. They say you can do it,
I
but
can imagine.
it's a lot, man. You really have to be a go getter. And I'm a go-getter, but it was challenging for me. So now I have a different mindset where I can partner with people. I don't have to do it all by myself. Um, and so that's what I've been doing. I'm looking to meet my 25 friends. You're my first out of those 25.
Let's go. Let's get Kiari's friend, man. Love that.
Yep.
We'll post
So
this in the sub two Facebook group.
I'm sorry.
I said we'll post this video in the Facebook group.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
So what's the one thing that you can get really, really good at? That you
Uh,
want to get really, really good at?
I want to get real great at sales and creative financing. That's that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, right? Um, because we can generate leads, right? We know how to reach out to the realtors and all that, but we need to have those systems, the follow up system, right? Imagine me trying to follow up, be on a call, be in a meeting. Like I was doing 2 meetings, 3 meetings at one time. I'd be on a Zoom on one computer, a Zoom on another computer, and on the phone. Like it was just too much. It was too much.
So you want to become a super good closer when it comes to creative and just cash deals as well, but you want to become a really good closer essentially.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
um, when I first got into sub two, I was generating a ton of leads already
Okay,
just from learning on like YouTube from because I bought a virtual assistant, buy a virtual assistant. I hired a virtual assistant,
right.
right? And she was generating me leads, and I just learned that through YouTube and stuff. So I was
Ah,
getting leads. I just didn't know how to close. So Pace,
ah,
I had a conversation with Pace the first day I get in. He's like, bro, go watch my sales training, go get in the daily dial, go
mhm.
listen to my seller calls, go listen to the You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar book, go do everything sales. Like get
Ah,
really, really good at sales. In the first 3 weeks, I ended up closing those leads that my virtual assistant was generating. I finally got my
wow.
deal. So with that being said, like, bro, everything sales. I would get in the daily dial, I would get in the nightly dial.
Okay.
And for anybody listening who doesn't know what these things are, the daily dial is something in the sub two mentorship that people will come in and they'll role play. They'll do somebody will pretend to be a buyer, somebody will pretend to be a seller, and it'll be a role play of a sales call. So and then closers and leaders within the mentorship will give feedback. Um, the nightly dial is something just a little bit different where we're calling live sellers. I'm actually one of the hosts on Fridays of the nightly dial. So
Mm,
um, Eastern time, it's 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. every Sunday. I mean, every Friday. So if you have time from then, feel free to hop in the nightly dial or any other night. The closers are in there helping people close deals that Pace actually generates. So Pace hires virtual assistants to generate leads, and then people that haven't really talked to sellers before that want to get good at it come in the nightly dial and call on those leads. And then if they ever get caught up and they're like, wait, I don't know, I messed this one up, then you could just transfer over to one of the closers. And then let's just say somebody like myself gets on the phone and just says, hey, I just overheard some of the conversation. I'm here in the office. Like, yeah, what's going on? And they try to recover the phone call.
that's cool.
Yeah, nightly dial is really, really cool. But bro,
Okay.
I would get on the nightly dial, the daily dial. I would listen to all Pace's seller calls. I would listen to his sales training. I would do everything sales.
Okay.
Have you read the book You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar?
I have it. I've started it. So I'm like, I don't know, page 40 or something.
That was a seller calling me actually.
Oh,
um, okay. Yeah, bro, that book is really good.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
gonna learn a ton from that book, and just get really consistent with it. And then from there, I mean, you're already generating, or you have the ability to generate your own leads, right?
absolutely.
Bro, then just have a system. What our business looks like right now is we have 3 virtual assistants, cold calling and texting, generating leads initially.
Hmm.
One virtual assistant in our CRM following up with those leads. One acquisition guy, and then myself.
Really?
So whenever it gets to the point where the acquisition guy has one that he needs help with, kicks it up to me, or I go in the appointment. Um, Same thing with the lead manager. Once she talks to somebody that's truly ready to sell their property in the next 30 days, they get pushed up to my sales guy, and then the virtual assistants do their thing for the lead generation, the initial lead generation, and they
Is
just
there
lead.
is there a specific like script that you have your VAs um, go through?
So the
Okay.
first virtual assistant, right, that initially calls a seller, like that just cold calls them out of the blue. It's not somebody that we've talked to yet. They have a very simple conversation. They just try to get the 4 pillars. So they're just getting timeline, motivation, price, and condition. We don't really even press on condition too much. We really press on motivation.
Okay.
So we do bring them through. I like to call it a structure, not a script. They've been really good. They've been with me for like a year now, so they're getting really good. So
Okay.
they're not like they don't sound like robots, right? They don't sound like they're reading just boom, 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 boom. They
Right.
really just base it off like a script, right? So I mean, off their structure. So
Right.
we tell them, hey, here's what you get in this part of the call, that part of the call, this part of the call, that part of the call, and we give them, especially when we onboard, we do give more so scripts. But now they know they have their own little style of how to ask these questions and how to get this type of information, and how to get this pillar, and how to get that pillar, and how to get that pillar. Just because they're getting really good at it. But people that
Right.
are just onboarding, that, for example, we just hired one a month ago who has never been in real estate ever. We had to give her a specific
Mhm.
script.
Script.
But now it's cool to see because she's finally getting it. She's starting to see how she fits her own personality into those categories in the structure
Mm,
of our cold call.
right.
So once somebody is motivated to sell and they raise their hand and say, yeah, I'd sell my property because of this. They go through our system, they go to our lead manager. Our lead manager is another virtual assistant who will then vet them a little bit more. We call her to our sellers, we call her the secretary.
Mm,
So after the initial cold caller gets a lead, she says, "Hey, I'm going to pass you off to my secretary. They are the one who set the phone call appointments with the underwriters, right?" And now the lead manager has three different conversations. One with hot leads, she just kicks them right up and sets the appointment with the underwriter to have a phone call. With warm leads, she vets it just a little bit more. With prospective leads, she says, "Hey, let's just I know you're not really looking to sell for another 6 to 12 months, but just give me a recap of what happened so I can have it in these notes. You'll be talking with me from here on out." And then there might
mm,
be something that she catches that makes it hot, that pushes it up to acquisitions, maybe that the cold caller didn't get, she gets. And
interesting.
then, yep. And then our acquisitions team uses the Sandler model. The how you can't teach a kid how to ride a bike at a seminar. So they have that type of conversation.
Okay.
And
Nice.
that's how our sales funnel works.
That's cool. That's
Hmm.
cool. Okay. Well, I'm definitely gonna yeah, I'm gonna yeah, we're looking to hire the we're gonna do one. We're gonna start off with one. I think I'm gonna do start virtual. I do have virtual assistants there ready, right? I have like three that I work with. Um, but the one thing that I like about Start Virtual is that they manage them for you to make sure that they're doing what they need to do. But I still want them to be part of the staff. So anyway, we're trying to figure that out. What
Yeah,
makes them?
we want to build culture
Yeah,
100%.
exactly, exactly.
1000%.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude. I mean, get that one virtual assistant. You already know how to generate the leads, like pulling lists and all that stuff. I'm
Yep,
assuming you already know how to do that. Get
absolutely.
really freaking good at talking to sellers and closing,
Hmm.
and start closing that one virtual assistant's leads. And as you grow that, naturally the company just grows, and you hire one, then you hire two, then you hire three, and it just keeps going.
Right,
All right.
love it.
But I know you do have a hard stop here coming up on the hour. Um,
Yeah, I
so,
do.
bro, I hope this was helpful so far.
Absolutely.
Anything else you need, bro, feel free to reach out.
Absolutely, man. I'm going to check out the Nightly Dial on Friday too, and I'll definitely be hitting you up. You've definitely been a great resource and so helpful, and I just really appreciate your candor and your support.
Let's go. We got to get Q his first creative deal.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Good stuff, bro. I appreciate you coming on here.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Peace.
Peace.